Hi everyone, welcome to Shikara Academy. ఈరోజు in today's exam we have seen three questions of economy. I will be discussing all the three questions, how to answer them rather than giving you a complete solution. I will enlighten you how you have to write the answers with your own knowledge or how to secure that knowledge, right? This will be my focus areas. So the first question is, despite great advantages we have with the GVA, gross value addition, why GDP, gross domestic product, is considered for national income calculation in consumption led economy like India? So you might have a question, you might have a doubt. This is a question happening from days together, years together. Same question is getting repeated from GDP. So GDP is a bigger topic than what you think, and it's much beyond topic. GDP you can relate to consumption, for production, for exports, for imports, for whatnot. You can relate it to any topic. So here there is an idea of it has been introduced long back, GVA, but it is not completely functional compared when you look at Niti Aayog documents, or when you look over economic surveys or socio-economic surveys. Every government is projecting itself. It has 10% GDP growth, 12% GDP growth, 15% GDP growth, or double digit GDP growth. Yes, but here please understand, we should not fall into the logic of politicians where GDP is calculated, because we get foreign investments more, and it is considered as our own investments while calculating GDP in a consumption led economy like India. If India is a production led economy, if India is being exported, then GDP is a good factor as you like. But India is importing more, India is using more than producing. So GVA is best method for us. So this debate was there, from say past, even in the COVID era, right? Before COVID, everyone is following GDP only. But when we have seen a quarter GDP decline of minus 23.9%, then everyone was shocked. Okay, I think GDP is not accurate method for the consumption led economy at the time of COVID crisis. So we have to migrate to the GVA. This debate was there in every newspaper, every news channel, and the politicians and everyone is discussing about whether we should use GVA or GDP, GVA or GDP, GVA or GDP. Simple logic. So that's the reason I have made this question for you. So in this question, how you have to write the answer. So how to approach, start your answer with how long how India grown as a consumption led economy by skipping production after 1991 reforms. So everyone knows that LPG era, liberalization, privatization, globalization, no, that everyone knows this LPG, right? Everyone knows this LPG. But what we have missed in this LPG is what you have to start your answer with. That makes sure for the examiner, while you're writing an answer, okay, this person knows much beyond when compared to others, or the other side of the knowledge, or the depth analysis of the knowledge. So everyone knows that liberalization, easing of the policies, removing the red tapeism, removing the bureaucratism, privatization, so that private people can come and invest. Private makes things faster. Globalization, accepting universal currencies, exports, imports. Okay, that's everyone knows. But that is a time where till green revolution we have seen substantial growth of agriculture. Suddenly we migrated to service sector by skipping the industries. So here, while we skipped industries, we have not restarted the industries again. We have not restarted the industries. So at this time, at this junction, GDP is not a viable thing for us. When we want to develop for industries, when we have to increase my industry, I have to follow GVA. Last year to till this year, how much my value is added. This year to next year, how much my value will be added. Right? This is what is needed. So you have to start your answer with the negative comment of LPG, so that your attention with the examiner will be good and you are not deviating from the topic, and you are writing what is required for the answer by justifying or substantiating. Next, mention disadvantages of GDP in calculation as it includes investments and FDI as national income. So everyone needs national income. Yes, I think everyone will accept, right? National income is something that you and I should definitely should definitely work on, right? So in national income, you don't need to write what exactly is the national income, measurements of national income. You may write in one line, right, how we measure national income, right? For example, national income in terms of GDP, NNP, or GNP, or NNP, net national product, or national income, or per capita income. If you say what, for example, in 2019, if you see statistics, 1,35,000 per capita national income is what we have. That is almost 6.8% growth rate compared to the before year 2018-19 year, which is now 1,26,406 rupees, I guess. So we have seen a 10% growth rate. Our GDP is national income is increasing 10%, right? So we are almost, India ranks third in terms of GDP compared to the purchasing power parity. But that is not helping the overall growth. That is not helping the overall growth of the country. So something we are missing. What is the missing? So we are not taking the value added. We are just calculating on the domestic product. Some foreign company comes and invests in India. We are just saying that, oh my God, I have this much investment. I have this much amount of great income. No. That's not how it should be. We should follow GVA mechanism here. So that disadvantages you have to write are the facts which I just mentioned in terms of 2018-19 data, 2021 data, because 2019-20 data, because I'm not taking 2021 data, 21-22 not yet come. So I'm not taking 2021 data because there is a steep decline of GDP. So only I have not given you 2021 data. So it is minus 23.9% is one quarter we have seen. So don't mention if India is bad at something, or when you are trying to mention one point and India is bad, don't mention before year. That is one logic. While you want good marks, you have to follow that logic. Next, GDP does not capture welfare or human well-being. Yes, GDP in terms of national income calculates the value that we have. So value addition is not being calculated, right? How much is there? How much is there? How much is there? No, GDP is more of volume rather than to say GVA is more of value. So GDP may not be strong basis to predict economic growth in terms of high uncertainty, as we have seen in COVID. Just because India has seen minus 23.9 growth rate, while targets are 6.5-7%, that doesn't mean that India has completely fallen down and it cannot revert back. So these numbers, whenever we have seen this minus 23.9% growth rate, everyone was shocked. We have to change to GVA. The debates have been started. That's the reason I have made this question. So this is one thing that you should understand. GDP excludes non-market activity. That's very important because we have gig economy. I think everyone knows about gig economy. Have you heard of gig economy? In COVID, everyone is talking about this. There is even UPSC question was asked on gig economy. UPSC mains question was there. So in this gig economy, when it has been developed, it is not being considered as individual income, right? So freelancing or gig economy. So gig economy means simply freelancing. I work for few days for few company. After that, I may shift. I may do freelance works that may not be considered, or may consider. So that uncertain amount, or say majority, say in India, we can almost say 30 to 40% of our economy runs on gig economy. That is not included in GDP itself, which is the major source for COVID era recovery. So again, there is a debate. GDP is not a viable factor. We have to shift it to GVA. Next, important indicators such as you have to mention about ecosystems, pollution, climate change. So everyone in economy talks about monetary policy, fiscal policy, growth, national income, GDP, GNP. But when you talk certain concepts beyond economy and you can relate to those agricultural concepts or environmental concepts in economy, then you can be a successful in terms of writing answers. So one point at least in economy answers in terms of resources or in terms of allocation of resources, right, or environment will give you good marks. So important indicators such as ecosystem, pollution, climate change or green GDP accounts, right, measures of happiness, sustainability, inequality or non-market accounts are not included in the GDP. That is the biggest drawback, because it's not just the wealth, health also matters, that is not taken into consideration. So that is seriously, which we have to think to migrate to GVA, and why and when GVA included and implemented in India. So you have to mention, why and when, GVA was introduced in India, what makes GVA good, or what is the definition of GVA. Yes, you have to mention. Nothing wrong about that. Nothing wrong about that. For example, gross value added, how much value added last year, this year. It's a measure of total value of goods and services produced in an economy or area or even a region or a country or in a, of course we can't talk about the world, but it is the amount of value added to the product is taken into account. Product. This is the logic we should take, right? And see, I'll tell you a small definition here. GVA and GDP relation, I think you can see here, right, in this point, compare and contrast both GDP and GVA. As I have said you, this point should be mentioned. Gross value added is equal to gross domestic product, GDP, plus subsidies on the products which you have given minus taxes and production. See, tax I may increase this year, I may reduce this year. Depending upon my financial inclusion, I will increase or decrease. For example, I want more money with the public so that they can purchase more and they will purchase more cars and good for economy, I will reduce the taxation system. If I feel that there is more money with the people and everyone is investing in the bank, I will reduce the interest rate. So I will change my CRR, SLR in open market operations to increase or decrease people's money. So what tool I have along with open market operations? Taxes. So I should not consider taxes for GVA కోసం I'm just telling Telugu. ఎప్పుడైనా సరే జీవీఏలో ట్యాక్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ తీసుకోకూడదు, బికాజ్ this is a negative term, right? Subsidies is very important because government is subsidies which will help you. Subsidies is opposite of tax, simply to say. So this is very, very important. And at the same time, the base year for the calculation of GVA has also been shifted from 2004-5 to 2011-12 along with GDP. This is very, very important because in earlier India has been using GVA at factor cost. What is factor cost? For example, I have an industry and I want to calculate national income or GDP or per capita income or NNP. Whatever I do, I will go to the industries and ask, hello Tata, what is your sales, what is your product? Hello Mahendra, what is your sales, what is your net profit? Hello Mr. Kia, what is your sales and what is your product? Rather than going to 100 customers, I will call one call to the company, right, and get all the data for calculation, rather than market price where I will go to the market and find all the prices. So that is very, very important, right? That is very important. And along with that, third point, why and when GVA included and implemented India. As I said, in 2015 India opted to make major changes in its compilation of national accounts and decided to bring the whole process into conformity with the United Nations system of national accounts, SNA 2008. This is very, very important. Right, I'll tell you one more thing, one more logic you can write in the answer. So I'm not explaining what is GVA, how GVA should be there, what is this thing and all, but as per the question, look at the question again and again. If you have doubt that you are deviating from the answer, read the question again. Despite great advantage we have with GVA, GDP is constant. So you have to, it's not about blaming GDP here. You have to compare and contrast. He's not saying compare and contrast, but you have to do, because it should be followed, but it is following, right? GVA should be followed, but GDP is being followed. So you have to compare and contrast. But simple logic I'm telling you. See, GDP is the total sum of private consumption is there, gross investment is there, government investment is there, government spending is there, foreign trade is there. I mean to say in terms of exports minus imports, as you can see. But in GDP, what simple, if you want me to tell as a formula, whatever I have said now, GDP is equal to private consumption, like what you purchase laptop, I purchase laptop, you purchase phone, I purchase phone on my. Gross investment, how much investment is coming from Japan or Korea. Government investment, government is introduced L&T Metro in Hyderabad, PPP model. Government spending, government is giving money to the people. Exports, we are exporting and getting dollars. We import, we take products and give away our dollars. So that is what GDP is, right? Simple logic, right? So GVA is a value added to the product to enhance various surroundings, various things and around that. That is very, very important. So you have to write this point, third point, and look at this. Highlight the importance of gross value added. That is, of course, how much our, see, this I can't give you this point of time, right? GVA is very big topic which it takes at least 1 hour to 2 hours time, at least 1.5 hour time. So whatever knowledge you have, take the point which you already know. GVA at basic price will include production of taxes and exclude production subsidies. This is important. GVA at factor cost include no taxes excluded, no subsidies. That is very important. Keep a balanced view as both GVA and GDP important. So again, I'm saying, don't blame GDP. GDP is a waste thing. The government is doing this. Never take an aggressive step or aggressive decision while writing answers. Be modern. As a modest, I can say, than modern. Right? GVA gives a picture of the state economy activities of producer side or supply side. Right? See, this is very important. GVA supports who? Who does it support? Producer side or supply side. This is very important. The GDP gives the picture from the consumer point of view, consumer side or demand side, right? So this is very, very one more important topic, right? Most important topic not to miss. If you write this point, you will definitely get 1 mark extra, right? Because the logic, you are catching the key of the answer. So GVA gives a picture of the state of the economy activity from the producer point of view, supply side. GDP gives a point of view, a picture of point of view from the consumer side, a demand perspective, right? That is very, very important. So when we want to migrate from consumption-led economy to production-led economy, we have to convert from GDP to GVA. That is very important. A sector-wise breakdown provided by the GVA measures is very important. Simple logic to say. Right, a sector-wise breakdown provided by the GVA measure. You can take any year, 2019-20 year or 18-19 year, 19-20 year. Say the advantage of GVA is it gives an exact value how much agriculture sector has grown, how much fishing sector has grown, how much mining sector has grown, how much industries have grown, how much quaternary sector has grown. A sector-wise breakdown is possible in the GVA. This is very, very important. Sector-wise breakdown is very, very important. This is the advantage you have. Measure can be better help for the policymakers to decide. So I am a district collector. I want to know in which district, which type of employment is more or less. With GVA, I can get that. GVA is considered better for the economy. Yes, of course it's better. GDP fails to consider the real economic scenario because a sharp increase in output can due to the higher tax collection. Just because I increase tax to 40%, 50%, 80%, my economy is cherishing and booming like a butterfly. No, you are just increasing. Don't confuse your brace with the muzzle, right? If you hit something, you have a brace, right? A red color wound or thing you have which will be swollen. Don't compare that with the muzzle you have. That's the difference between GDP and GVA. So it is more of a news. I want you to understand. That's the reason I have given this question. This is more in news. This is more in news because we have all the chapters. We have 5 major topics in terms of Indian economy. So in terms of national income, I thought there is a debate here from almost 1 year to shift to GVA completely. So only I have given this question because it's in current affairs from past 1 year. That is one thing. Second question is Printing of money is not an alternative to clear all external and state debts of India. Why? Why? Simple logic. Inflation. Done. Answer is done. But if you write one word answer, inflation, is it okay? Is it okay? Yeah, I don't think it's okay. What monetary policy changes does India needs to increase the financial access to every nook and corner? How we have to develop? Just inflation, okay? Yeah, not okay. Inflation, just if you write inflation, half answer, give me 5 marks. No, I won't give. No one will give. What monetary policy changes does India needs to increase the financial access to every nook and corner? That is other half of the question. So you have to substantiate what happens if printing money. You may say that we have India has huge amount of debt. Do you accept that India has debt? Yes, yes or no? Do you think India is debt free? India has debt. India has huge amount of debt, right? According to some estimates, by the end of financial year 2022 and 2021-22 financial year, that is 2000 March to 2022, India has an external debt. Debt ante telugulo appu. External debt, bayata deshamlo తీసుకున్న appu. External debt how much? 8.2% increased. Yeah, it's almost 620 billion rupees. Last year 573 billion rupees. This year 620 billion rupees. Yes. In terms of GDP, it is 19% last year. This year 21.2%. 21.2%. Are some big issue is happening? Some bad is happening to us. That's the reason I have given this question. It was increased because our exports have been decreased in terms of COVID. I have given this question. Can we print? No, inflation happens. Give a latent external debt and state. So this is something that you have to understand, right? This is very, very important point. Right, along with this, I think I have mentioned one more point in terms of last year GDP, in terms of external debt, in terms of GDP is 19.9%. This year 21.2%. There is an increase. So that is a bad. So that is one thing. And majority of our debt was in US dollars, 53%. After that, Indian rupees, 31.2%. So 50, I'm very bad at maths. 53, 63, 73, 83, and almost 85% US dollars and rupees. So remaining, no, almost 15% in rupiah, say Chinese renminbi, or different terminology. So external debt as a ratio of GDP fell marginally to 19.9% at the end of March 2022. Right, that is very, very important. Right. Right, along with that, sorry, it has been decreased. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, foreign currency reserves as a ratio to external debt stood slightly lower at 97.98% as in March. Yeah, this I'm sorry, this I have changed it. Right, sorry, I kept it wrong here. This and this, just a match mistake, a typo error. That's it. So yeah, next, coming to the next, foreign currency reserves as a ratio to external debt stood steadily lower at 97.8% at March than say 100.6% a year ago. That is very much important, right? So if we keep on printing currency and clear all our debt, what happens? The value of your rupee keep on decrease. When your value is getting decreased, what happens? So in the external market or even in the internal market, the value of the rupee is decreased. For example, inflation will be increased. For example, 10,000 rupees printed and given to everyone in India. So now if you go and donate with your kind-hearted 5 rupee to a beggar, he will say that I have 10,000 rupees, I never need 5 rupees, I want 50 rupees, he'll ask. Right, so it's not about a beggar. Even if you want to go and purchase a dosa, no, now which was 40 rupees, now it may become 45 rupees because everyone has extra money right now. So you are with the same amount, you're with extra amount, you are getting the same dosa. It means that inflation happened, inflation, price rise happened. So never print money than it is required. The aggregate debt of states reached 15-year high of 31.3% of GDP in financial year 2021. States, see this. Right, that is very, very important. These are the facts to substantiate the first point which I have mentioned. Right, this is the first point. See, this is something that you have to write. This is my point of view, that what all can be mentioned. You may mention different points, but don't deviate from the given item external debt and state debts. Right? According to the respective budget estimates, states with highest debt to GSDP ratio are Punjab 53%, Rajasthan 39%, West Bengal 38%, Kerala 38%, Andhra 37%. So this is something which at least should be mentioned. You may go beyond it, nothing wrong, but at least mention this. Second point which is expected is explain what is monetary policy and various components. This is the second point of the question, right? So objective of monetary policy, what is monetary policy, how access to the monetary policy should be there, how much is the monetary policy should be there. Simple logic here. We have fiscal policy, monetary policy. Monetary policy, monetary, money is there. Fiscal policy, financial is there. Simple logic. I have money, I have financial security. For example, I have 10,000 rupees in my balance. So how to spend that? How much I have to get more? 50,000 I have to get more. So that is monetary policy. Just simple logic, like ABCD I'm telling you. Fiscal policy, I can transfer this amount through UPI transaction or through bank transaction or through Google Pay transaction. That is ease of advancing the money, ease of accessing the money. Financial inclusion, financial policy. How good is your financial policy? Your monetary policy may be good or bad, but your financial policy should be very good. Simply I'm telling you, your monetary policy may be strict or loose sometimes. Your financial policy should be always be good. So it is accessing to the every nook and corner. So for that, your monetary policy should be in control. Simple logic to say, right? See, simple, yeah. Government increase the tax, so you have less money with you now. You are getting 1 lakh as salary. Government increase it to 50% tax. You are getting only 50,000 rupees from the 1 lakh salary you get. So that is monetary policy, whether money should be increased for you or decreased for you. Government thinks that okay, this beta is doing very much good work, I will reduce the tax to 5%. So you will be having 95,000 with you. Government will take only 5,000 rupees of tax. That is monetary policy. Simple one line answer I am telling you. Fiscal policy, you are getting money only in terms of bond I will give you, only in terms of gold I will give you, only in terms of fixed deposits I will give you, only in terms of bank, only if you go to bank you can deposit the money, only in check you have to deposit your money. Access to the monetary policy is financial policy. For fiscal policy, right, that is very important. Differentiate the both. Here what is asked in the question, fiscal axis. So monetary policy, fiscal axis clubbed in one answer. That is very important. Right, objective of monetary policy should be right. And in monetary policy, open market operations is one important thing. Cash reserve ratio, this is definitions, right? Definitions. Bank rate policy, right? These are the few definitions. You can get it in the Ramesh Singh book. I have taken it from the Ramesh Singh book. I am openly saying that, right? You can use Ramesh Singh book or Dattan Sundaram book or Wikipedia or economic survey. Wherever you will find the same definitions. But you should know what should be mentioned. You don't even mention the complete explanation in your exam. Open market operations such as ERR, SLR, bank rate, repo rate, reverse repo rate, you can mention like that. That is simple. Right. Next, disadvantage of printing currency to fulfill debt as it increases great inflation to erode the value of rupee. Yes, you may mention see, if you have not mentioned in the first paragraph itself, at least mention in the third paragraph. That is the reason I have mentioned this in the third paragraph. You have to give examples. Sudan example, Zimbabwe example, Iran example. For $1, how much value you have? For $1, we have almost 81 rupees in India. But in Zimbabwe or say Sudan, it is almost 10 lakh, 8 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees, 10 lakh Sudan rupee or say Sudan currency. So how much deterioration will happen? You have to mention that example for attraction. That is very important in an exam. Facts are important. Attraction is also important with the examples. Write about monetary policy committee, because see, fiscal policy, monetary policy committee, you don't need to again mention who will be in the system, who are the permanent people, who are the temporary people, what is the monetary policy constitute, what is the advantages of monetary policy. No, just one line. We have to substantiate your answer. We have a monetary policy and we have even a monetary policy committee also to always see whether this policy, this monetary thing is going good or bad is sufficient. For your understanding, I am writing all these 4 points, right? This is simple, right? This here you don't need to write all the monetary policy examples, but for your understanding, I'm writing this. But write at least one point on the monetary policy so that it feels like, okay, this person knows what is monetary policy and what stabilizes this monetary policy also. This gives a good idea, it's a good about you. Role of RBI, especially as a lender of last resort for financial inclusion. Yes, to increase financial. Again, don't deviate from the question. Look at the question. If you feel you're deviating, look at the question. What India does to increase financial access to every nook and corner? What we have to do? We have to stick. Who is sticking to the point? RBI. Role of RBI as a lender of last resort for financial inclusion. You have to mention that. Digitalization as a solution is one thing for financial inclusion. And what are the instruments? Right, just before we have the monetary policy instruments. But for extra marks, you should, as I said, I'm just giving a gist. Open market operations you have to write for extra marks. See, these are not mandatory, this A, B, C, D, E, but for extra marks. If you have written, if you are thinking that you have written in a 3/4 of the answer, write these for extra marks. Just instead of RBI, you can write RBI, which was established under the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. You can mention that for extra mark. That the 3 members of RBI, see, in terms of monetary policy committee, who will be there are 3 members from the RBI, with the governor being the ex officio chairperson, deputy governor of RBI in charge of the monetary policy, with a member as executive director of central bank. To substantiate your answer, to increase extra mark. So don't waste your time while writing these extra mark things. Write the basic thing first of all. Attract your examiner with good examples. Good examples. If you have time, substantiate your examples or topic with the facts. For example, suggestions made by the Chakravarti committee, right? For example, this is one thing for price stability, economic growth, equality, social justice. Just for your understanding, right? Next, what are the major hindrances? Third question which I have given in digitalizing land records in India and Telangana in specific. There is a reason for giving this topic, because the reason is this: highlight the discussions with reference to the digitalization of land records in recently concluded UN Geospatial meet in Hyderabad. So first meeting was done in 2019 in China, 2020 was supposed to be taken in India, but COVID, 2011 COVID, 2022 COVID, so what, I have to start the meeting, so they have started, and it was a privileged moment that India is the host of it, and we should be privileged again that because Hyderabad is the host of it, this particular moment. So recently in UN Geospatial meeting that was held in this Novotel HICC, where everyone discussed about digitalizing land records, land records. There was a stall in this particular by the Telangana government, which says that it is one of the best state in the country where a majority of the records were digitalized and being completely in terms of digitalized from the analog to digital. Simple logic to say. So this is one thing that is very good. No, because of this, because it's there in syllabus, I have given this particular thing. How to approach in Telangana? We have a system of registered sale. This is very much important. The problem which we have in Telangana is this: in Telangana we have a system of registered sale deeds and not land titles. That is very important here. You don't have an exact land titles in the state of Telangana, which is very problem in terms of authenticity or in terms of converting to digital. It can be transferred or sold only to the registered document. Next, second point is also one of the problem faced by the Telangana in specific, because of the Nizam legacy that we have in Telangana in specific.